Emergent behavior. Emergent behavior is behavior that is not designed or created specifically by a leader of a hierarchy or the director of an entity. It's behavior that happens as a result of individual interactions between the moving parts of whatever complex system you're talking about. And you see this with flocks of birds, schools of fish, humans, cells in human bodies, where there's no leader, yet all at once at the same time actions cascade through the organism or the system, and the individual control for small parts does not have to be directed by one central commanding region, but rather it unfolds, and the system unfolds and organizes itself by big main differentiations and then smaller and smaller differentiations that happen as a result of the specific environments that the cells or units are placed in. So in the human body, you get three main differentiations that happen even in the fetus, still in the embryo, and they become the three different groups of cells, and in those groups they differentiate and specialize further and further. For example, a liver cell, there's no central cell that commands a liver cell to go from a pure undifferentiated cell into a specific liver cell, but rather the cell follows the commands, the signals that are available in its immediate environment, and this leads to specific actions, and it's a self-regulating mechanism. So the cells follow the instructions of the environment, and the environments create other environments for other cells and so forth, and there are overarching environmental triggers that prevent one part becoming too large or one specific type of cell or unit to dominate and so forth. The internet started showing emergent behavior after it started reaching a few thousand servers and CPUs and networked computers. And in Google's DeepMind and other in the Google infrastructure, the physical servers, you find the emergent behavior, which from a simple set of axioms you get complex behaviors that cannot be predicted ahead of time, and that is the reasons, the motivations behind the decisions cannot be predicted ahead of time. Sometimes the servers delete a file or move a file, and the engineers, the people who are said to be running the whole show, can't tell you why that specific thing happened. And that is a property of emergent behavior. Emergent behavior allows for a greatly decreased information load needed to run the system effectively. If every behavior in every part of every cell was directed and commanded by a leading entity, a leader, a commander, whatever, then there would have to be massive information flows to get things done. Instead, the leading entities or leaders or master servers, controllers, whatever, they paint the broad strokes. They say go there, or grow this, or solve this problem, optimize this, and then the rest of the system flows through doing that. A leader just tells people to amass here, fight there, whatever, how to build their tents, but the leaders don't tell the individual people when to go to the bathroom or when to eat. Well, all of these functions can be taken under command of the leader or left to function on its own. And this simplifies things massively. Your brain doesn't have to tell each individual cell to make each specific molecule or protein or whatever. Our mind, our nervous system, just tells cells when to activate and when to rest, when to release toxins and when to absorb glucose, and so on and so forth. You get a coordinating system. A system that coordinates. For us, it's the nervous system. The internet has its protocols. Companies have their meetings and their internal protocols, communication channels, etc. And so there is a measure of control, but it's not full control. It's only partial control, and that is you only need partial control. For modern economies, presidents do not have the power to order each individual to do specific things. The president drafts plans, makes the specific decisions, and so forth, but all the nitty-gritty, the tiny details, the specifics, gets hammered out by people lower down on the command chain or by emergent behavior from lots of interacting small units, complex units, small units that lead up to massive collective behavior with no clear leader. Economies work like this. In an economy, there is no central governing authority that regulates the price of every good and creates the factories and builds the production and so forth, that does that. But just left to its own devices by lots of people making interactions and seeing a need for a product and creating a company to fill it, people doing market research and discovering new needs, or advertising, teaching people about a better product, and then people shifting to a better product. All these happen as a result of emergent behavior. And the reason the Soviet Union failed was because they believed that they could control and command, direct, order the amount of factories made and the amount of goods produced for all the different goods. They thought that they could control it as a central government, but they did not understand how emergent behavior and large complex systems work. The government is like a nervous system. It tells cells certain stuff and certain stuff for what to do, and the rest it leaves up to the cell's own devices. And if you just have the right signaling in place and the right environmental stimulus, then all the needs are fulfilled, all the goods get where they should be, the society moves forward, and the organism moves to new levels of complexity and efficiency and knowledge. The Soviet Union thought that by creating a government that was more like a general and less like a nervous system would work, and it didn't. not a general. A better metaphor would be no, yes, like a general, and that they could accurately predict how much, what quantity of goods would be needed, what amount of, what quality of goods, and so forth. But so if you're a small enough organism, you can plan. By planning, you can by direct command planning, hierarchical creation, you can solve all the different parts of the organism's needs and all the different systems you can put in place. But as this organism becomes larger, a less hands-on and direct control method needs to happen, and a more emergent, let things be as they are, people will figure it out system works better, because the information needed to predict stuff increases exponentially, and command and control can only increase linearly.